Hey everyone, Pastor George here for Culture Thursdays, and I thought what I would do is just talk about some of my favorite Christmas carols heading up. Make it a little themed about about the Christmas season stuff that I like. As you know, like last year I did one of the classic sermon series on Christmas hymns that everyone always hears a million times. But now I can kind of choose ones that I like rather than kind of what fits with whatever biblical passage I want to talk about for that week. And so I will start with, I guess, what I consider my favorite one, although obviously, like many people, they're always changing. Something to note, like for Christmas radio and things, I'm fine with some of the non-religious Christmas songs. I think they're okay, but I generally don't feel any sort of joy or enjoyment out of hearing them. Some of them are fine, but most of them is just like, whatever. Uh, I'm very cynical about them. But for the ones that aren't, for the ones that have like a tradition and a history of being in the church and being religious in their theme, I like those ones a lot. And so I have my own playlist that is basically only those types of songs. And I absolutely cannot stand All I Want for Christmas Is You. That is by far the worst thing ever when it comes to Christmas music. And everyone loves it, and I can't stand that. So my favorite Christmas carol. I guess I should also preface it with this: is that I really like ones that make me feel like I'm being transported back into like the 1700s or whatever 1800s, in London or something like that. The really old timey ones that are sung during the Christmas Carol or whatever. That's like what I like. So I like ones that are really kind of old fashioned and old sounding and really folk tuney, and so that's what I like. And this is going to make sense because my favorite one is probably God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, which has that very, English country song type tune to it that is so famous. And I think that the reason I like that one is because it tells basically the point of Christmas, why we should celebrate it, and also gives the whole Christmas story. And it doesn't have to rely on any sort of like, not things that things that aren't describing the scene, right? A lot of like Christmas carols describe the scene of things that are happening, so it's talking about how cold or how dark or how silent everything is, right? But it's actually not, it's not trying to talk about that. It's really just trying to focus on the subject, and it's kind of upbeat and fast paced, which is not usually typical. So I really like that as well, and so I think it's a great little ditty, and that's definitely one of my favorite Christmas carol. So I have it on basically all my playlists and stuff like that. And unfortunately, like many others, it's harder and harder to find it on mainstream radio, which is why I'm so glad that there's stuff like Spotify, because a lot of the more Christmas stations are becoming more and more secular every year. They play less and less Christian themed Christmas music and more just kind of like you know deck deck the boughs with bows of holly or whatever. So it's like, oh well, deck the halls with bows of holly. It's just like, oh well, that's fine, I guess. So yeah, just something to be aware of, and also the best our best tools during this season as Christians is the Christmas carols because almost everyone knows them, and even people who really aren't religious like them a lot. So they're like our number one ticket into kind of explaining why this season is so important. So it's a good conversation starter for all you folks out there. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow for Mailbag Friday. I have a good question from Elijah, and so I'll be answering that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.